I'll never forget the camping trip that changed my life forever. My friends and I had been planning it for months, and we were all excited to spend a weekend in the woods, away from the hustle and bustle of city life. We arrived at the campsite on a Friday afternoon, eager to set up our tents and start a fire. The woods were dense and eerie, with tall trees that seemed to stretch up to the sky like skeletal fingers. As we worked, the sun began to set, casting long, ominous shadows across the forest floor. I remember feeling a shiver run down my spine as the darkness gathered, but I brushed it off as mere paranoia. We spent the evening swapping ghost stories and trying to scare each other. But deep down, I think we all knew that we were safe. Or so we thought. As night began to fall, we settled in around the fire, roasting marshmallows and chatting. But as the hours wore on, the conversation began to dwindle, and we started to hear strange noises in the woods. At first, it was just the usual sounds of the forest: hooting owls, chirping crickets, and the occasional snapping of twigs. But then, we started to hear something else. Footsteps. Heavy, deliberate footsteps, crunching through the underbrush. We exchanged nervous glances, telling ourselves it was just a stray animal or a lost hiker. But the footsteps kept coming, closer and closer, until it sounded like whatever was making them was right outside our campsite. I remember feeling a cold sweat break out on my forehead as I stared into the darkness, my heart racing with anticipation. And then, the footsteps stopped. The silence that followed was oppressive, like a physical weight pressing down on us. We sat there, frozen, waiting for something to happen. And then, it did. A figure emerged from the darkness, tall and imposing, its presence seeming to fill the entire clearing. It was humanoid in shape, but its body was twisted and distorted, like it had been melted and reformed into something grotesque. Its skin was deathly pale, and its eyes glowed with an otherworldly light. We were paralyzed with fear, unable to move or speak as the creature began to move towards us. It was slow and deliberate, its movements almost hungry. I felt like I was going to pass out, my vision blurring as the creature loomed closer. And then, everything went black. When I came to, I was alone, lying on the forest floor. The campsite was deserted, our tents and gear scattered everywhere. I stumbled to my feet, calling out for my friends, but there was no answer. I was left with only one thought. I had to get out of there, as fast as I could. I stumbled through the woods, tripping over roots and crashing through underbrush. I didn't stop until I saw the lights of a nearby town, shining like a beacon in the distance. I stumbled into the nearest gas station, begging the attendant to call the police. They found me, shaken and covered in scratches, with no memory of how I got there. My friends were never found. The police searched the woods, but there was no sign of them. It was as if they had vanished into thin air. I've never gone camping again, and I never will. The memory of that night still haunts me, a constant reminder of the horror that lurks in the darkness, waiting to strike. I've tried to tell people about what happened, but no one believes me. They think I'm crazy, that I made it all up. But I know the truth, and I'll carry it with me for the rest of my life.